This week we're talking about the respiratory system, which is the system that allows you to bring oxygen in and let the oxygen diffuse into your blood, and then carbon dioxide that's in your blood diffuses out. And so your whole respiratory system is nothing but a bunch of tubes and passageways that these gases are going to move through. All right, so it's divided into two parts. There's the upper respiratory system and the lower respiratory system. And fun fact right off the bat is that your upper respiratory system moves mucus downward, and your lower respiratory system moves mucus upward. That's the distinction between the two. And they're both all eventually moving mucus over here to your esophagus, where it's going to go down to your stomach, and you're going to digest it. So fun. All right, so you should breathe through your nose in what are called your external nares. I realize in this picture it's called a nasal vestibule, but we're using the term external nares. Those are your nostrils. That leads to your nasal cavity, and then your nasal cavity leads to your pharynx. And along the way, it's going to warm and moisten the air. You're going to smell. Your nasal cavity is good for having sound. If you hold your nose, your voice sounds different. I was holding my nose just there. I don't know if you could tell. All right, but after your nasal cavity, the air is going to go down here to your pharynx. And just like there's two openings at the beginning, the external nares, there's also two openings that open in the back of your throat. And they're called internal nares. Now, this picture is apparently from a dog. That's the only thing I could find on Google. But basically, if you could get in the back of your throat and look upward, it would look something like this. You've got basically nostrils back there that lead down to the back of your throat where food also goes. So this is a picture of me when I was younger. Not really, but it's connected and you can do gross things with it. Okay, so your pharynx, there's your nasopharynx, your nose pharynx, your oropharynx, your mouth pharynx, and your laryngopharynx, your larynx pharynx. All right, so three parts. The larynx is the top of the lower respiratory system, and before air can get through there, it has to pass by what's called your epiglottis. And this is a little flap made of cartilage that's going to it's open all the time so you can breathe, but it's going to go down when you swallow so that food kind of slides off of it and goes down your esophagus to your stomach. Also, in your larynx, you have your vocal cords. You have true vocal cords that make sound. And so as you tighten the muscles that are connected to the cords, your voice gets higher if you tighten the muscles. But if you relax it, then your voice gets really low. But also in your larynx, you have false vocal cords, which if you want to see what those do, open your mouth and try to hold your breath, and you can feel yourself contracting your false vocal cords. All right, once you get past there, it's just a straight shot to your blood. So after the larynx, we're going through the trachea. Your trachea is your windpipe. It's basically just a big tube surrounded by cartilage on most sides. It's not surrounded by cartilage in the back. We can't see it in this picture. But basically, when you swallow food, it's got to be flexible back there because your esophagus runs along the back. So your esophagus changes shape as you swallow. Your trachea goes down here, and it's going to divide into two large tubes that lead to each lung. Those are called bronchi. One of them is a bronchus. And then the bronchi are going to divide into smaller tubes called bronchioles. And then each bronchiole is going to end at what we call an alveoli. And alveoli are these tiny little sacs, and each one is surrounded by the pulmonary capillary, which allows for diffusion of oxygen into the blood and carbon dioxide out of the blood. So remember, your pulmonary vein and your pulmonary artery are going to and from the heart. So arteries go away from the heart. Here they're deoxygenated. Veins go to the heart. Here they are oxygenated.